Welcome back, everybody. We're here once again. It's Omega Strike #1, hosted by Amped Up Tournaments. Once again, I'm Squid, this time joined by the one and only K-Bot. Welcome on into the booth. Had an interesting round 1 matchup there for the Swiss stage. We're on to round 2 now. So how you feeling coming into this one? You know, it's a bit impromptu, have you in the booth here, but I won't say I'm not happy.
Yeah, I am just as surprised to be here. I was having an incredibly lazy day and then saw a ping and it was like, oh, well, maybe I should go get a shower before stepping on broadcast. So the fact that Fem Bison was able to step on for one earlier there actually was quite nice. Gave me a little bit extra time to like have a stack real quick before coming on. But excited to watch more Omega Strikers today nonetheless. Nice little tournament we've got going on. I know word was spreading about this tournament like within the past few days. I don't know how long it's been scheduled or anything, but we got a decent showing. So it'll be a lot of fun to watch this and who all is able to come out on top of our Swiss stage. Just
Yes, and of course, naturally, 4-round Swiss leading into top 4 into a double elimination bracket, as we said before the break. So it'll be an interesting time. But moving on to what we have here in round 2 of Swiss, it's going to be Oshi, no Koreflip, versus OTP. And as we were kind of discussing in the background a little bit before we went into the match here, a little bit of history behind these two teams. OTP, I mean, they've been around the scene for quite a bit now, I would care to say. And we do have the game loading up now. So I'm curious, K-Bot. I mean, they're coming into this one as my personal favorite. We're on to Demon Days, and we're going to be on board with OTP for this go-around with Barbed in the net. No surprises there. But what are you thinking about this one? Do you want to see them go forward and kind of like redeem themselves, so to speak, for NASL, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be cool to see them come on with a decently strong performance here. Of course, their competitors in this round 2 is Oshi no Koreflip, one of these teams that made it to the top 16 phase of the OSPL, right? The tournament that happened over the past few weeks. So their opponents here in round 2 are certainly looking to take one against them. But as I was saying, we've got a surprising number of stacked teams here in our Swiss stage, and with only a few teams getting the go-ahead into the double elimination phase 2, it's going to mean that every single match is going to count, and it might even come down to every single set counting as well. So if OTP wants to put on a decent showing here, they're certainly going to have to take on this one. We see the drafts now on our screen. Seeing the X come back online with that additional buff he received in the last patch. Will be interesting to see what Katsuna can do.
Yeah, absolutely. A little bit more mobility, having that Bull Rush off will cool down 1 second faster. I'm sure the X-Mains will be happy about that, and everybody else will be severely, severely disappointed. We do see peak performance coming in alongside Glass Cannon, and it looks like it's going to be, I think, the goalies opting for the Glass Cannon. That does kind of check out to a reasonable degree. So, no surprises there. Like I said, we're on board with OTP this time around. They've just lost a shield barrier immediately. We did see a Juliet and Rasmus ban as well, so it feels like there might be a bit of a brawler focus, but oh my goodness, that one went a heck of a lot faster than I thought. Mirameg takes goal number 1.
Able to run through and run on forward with that. And look, you know, on Demon Days here, if you can start keeping up that momentum and keeping up that pressure, you saw Merchant go all the way forward there on the Vice as well. And it's going to be very easy to do that, given by the fact that the goalies often want to stand circling around these barriers that are very large. It's real easy for these goalies to start getting involved in the front lines. But now, looks like actually the goal barrier are going to follow the opposite direction. And now it's OTP's turn to strike. They're looking for the pass here down to Katsuna, who now goes into the X Maximus, trying to look for KO or at least a little bit of extra damage, but cannot find the strike to the net. But there it is, just as the buff comes back offline. Able to find the goal to equalize things here on the first set.
Yeah, a bit of commentator's curse there as well, K-Bot. I mean, it looked like things were just going to die down there for a second. Suddenly, hey, look, just a 1-2 strike war, and Katsuna is able to put goal number 1 on the board. Nice little energy burst there. Keeps that one away. Katsuna getting in the way as well. Hungry Boy actually completely staggered now as Aimee. And actually, I didn't even talk about that, but we do have a bit of a mirror matchup here. Of course, Vice and Net on either side, and an Aimee forward there. That Firewall Sentry almost stuffs that Koreflip to perfection. Katsuna will pick it up with that Bull Rush again. Just barely up a little bit more frequently after that last buff. X Maximus doing a number against Asher there alongside the Supernova. Will give them an advantage back the other way. They've got 1 shield barrier, now 2, and the Koreflip, oh, was just enough. The slow play. Hungry Boy actually combos that one into the bottom side.
the less predictable you can make your Koreflip plays, the better they will be on the whole. And so opting to wait just long enough to make sure that you're not getting that empowered strike and actually make that the pass forward to Hungry Boy wins the strike war there in the net, because Merchant was back there not expecting that kind of a pass to come through, and that's eventually what makes this goal go in. But you mentioned it a little bit in that last round. The fact that this is a mirror matchup, there are so many similar characters, in my mind means that this first set is going to make one heck of a difference, especially because we don't have these infinite trainings anymore, right? There's no insurance policy or guarantee, depending on how the luck of the draw goes. Is a Koreflip's going to be able to save this one away from the net. Still power play opportunity, though. Merrimack forward, but is looking staggered, but still going to be able to get in there and find the net nonetheless. We're heading to a goal 5. As I was saying, neither team wants to forfeit positions on this first carousel.
I do wonder, Barb did have Flip available. I wonder if it was like a cost-benefit evaluation there, because they didn't really have any momentum in that last volley, if you will. But now they do pop it very early on here, so it looks like even if they did try to keep it for this one, it's not made a world of difference. They've already conceded 1 shield barrier. It looks like it's going to be 2 there, and indeed it will. Miramac and Kashikoma both looking to move forward with this one. They have 1 flip available on those forwards. There it comes, the 1-2 to the bottom side. There was no angle onto the net, though, so they're going to have to come at it again.
Looking at this one, and there it is, able to punch it back. Is Miramac in position, gets it right around Barbed Pilot. One of those things, the goalie, you got to pick which side to cover, and that time around didn't pick quite the right one, wasn't able to get down there in possession. And now, as we head into this first carousel, it is OTP that retains the second and third picks here. So hopefully they'll be feeling pretty decent about themselves, but we'll see what ends up getting picked up first. It's the heavy impact that'll come through here for Merchant on that goal line.
Certainly going to impact the opposing X as well. They're going to opt for Chrono Boost. Can't really argue with that selection, though. Monumentalist feels like it's going to be on the table, and there will be for IME as well as Missile Prop. Really no surprises about this one. The Reverberation coming in through Asher. Peak Performance alongside Reverberation is going to provide just a little bit of extra mobility that she sorely needs. So not a whole lot of surprises here. I feel like Kashikoma perhaps might be the one to watch out for with that Firewall Sentry. Absolutely gigantic now. With that last carousel, they've already got 2 shield barriers down. As a result, they're doing a little bit poorly on the stagger bars, but I don't think it's going to perturb them too much. They'd rather have the strict advantage that they now find themselves with.
I'll be looking for the pass. Merchant uses that power core, tries to sneak one up there, but Kashikoma is there to put it away nonetheless. Quick goal there, quick turnaround as all 3 members, once again from Oshi no Koreflip, getting involved and sending that goal back, starting to make possible connections, make those kind of passing plays that are that much more difficult to do.
Talking about looking forward in the event a little bit, it feels like this could easily be a bracket stage matchup right about now. OTP still struggling to find a little bit of tempo here. They will find 1 shield barrier on the other end. It's now tied in this volley. Actually, Emergent's having a bit of a rough go of it. Katsuna on the hunt, pops that bell ringer. There's the glitch pop from downtown. Hungry Boy picks up the KO. Almost 2 now. Supernova going to stuff that opportunity to flip that one clear immediately. They'll pick the second shield barrier. Bell ringer's not there, but it just goes on. And Barb actually taking credit for the goal. I might have to watch that one back.
Kashikoma there especially trying to do everything in their power to get that core out of there. But at the end of the day, what do you do when there's 1 member down on your team and you've got another 2 members that are awful staggered? Now momentum once again goes the exact other direction as the turret comes in to pair up with Miramac for the goal there as well. Very limited clearing angles there, and as long as they can keep maintaining that kind of pressure on this goal, we'll see more cores find the net. And now all of a sudden it's another set point here for Oshi no Koreflip.
Comes a little bit back to the Monumentalist draft I was talking about earlier. If you have that regular size Firewall Sentry, there's short odds that you might be able to get it out the top side on that last play. But not with the massive size that it now has, and Miramac was able to stuff it down on the bottom. They're looking to just put this one away fairly quickly. They've got both shield barriers now, and Merchant actually under that one a little bit. Now it's tubed down on the other side. This could easily be a twist of fate. Firewall Sentry comes out a little bit early. Oh, the Supernova's not in time! And after the barrier beam, they've got 3 for set number 2.
Gotta feel for that one. I mean, you released the button a half second earlier, and that one's out of the net, right? That's A little bit unfortunate there if you're Bar Pilot, but nonetheless, you won't be able to get that one back. And so now we'll be heading on over to another Awakenings draft here, where once again, it is Kashikama that's able to take the extra special now. We were talking about this turret and how potentially devastating it can be. Now it's got extra special to come out even more often.
Bulk up deny as well from the opposing Astra. I can't really argue with that one. I mean, Miramek has just been huge. In terms of stagger, they've got reverberation, they've got peak performance already, stacks on stacks. Here for Hungry Boy can help a little bit, but it's a whole lot going on here. Cast to Last going to provide a little bit of extra stun. You can see it there on the left side of your screen only a moment ago. Bard Pilot just standing in place. They got hit by that Thunderstruck, and they are just, well, they're stunned forever. I mean, even there's like a 1 second stun in Omega Strikers feels like an eternity, especially if you are the one responsible for defending the net. That Supernova dive is going to pull some energy out of the opposition. Merchant won't get anything forward. They will lose a shield barrier, make it 2 now. Bellringer comes in from Katsuna, who is starting to fall just a little bit behind, I would say, in terms of scaling on that X. But they're still making themselves known. The blink in from Bard Pilot after the Thunderstruck. That's a beautiful one, too.
Yeah, that's exactly what the Vice goalie wants to do, right? It wants to dive in there with that Thunderstruck, get involved on the offensive, and the aerials as well pick up in the first carousel, going to help in doing that with a little bit of extra blink range on that Thunderstruck as well. And of course, with the eject button, able to hop right on back and defend that goal barrier themselves. So fantastic for Bard Pilot, good awareness and good timing as well for the offensive to make sure that he's got that cooldown online.
Supernova picking up the second shield barrier immediately. It looks like it might be a quality resurgence here for OTP. They will sack both of theirs on the back end. Bard Pilot with the blink and will have to retreat. Only a moment later, it looked like they had quite a bit of momentum. And, you know, after that first goal in this set, it does feel like they have the upper hand. Koreflip towards the top side from Miramek towards Kashikama. But there was really no opportunity for them to get that one through. Ooh, the Firewall Sentry almost picks up Hungry Boy, and it will be escorted off the bottom now. That's one IME down. Will the goal come through, though? Not quite. Clearance made. Katsuna responsible. Helping out the defense, and now it will be back to a 3v3. Hungry Boy back.
Yeah, the X helping as best he can there. Just trying to clear that core away, because the second that it gets into the hands of someone with a Koreflip, the goal goes in. Merchant there that time around, able to blink forward, has the energy burst, and sends it to the top corner exactly where Bard Pilot wasn't, and for that matter, where no one else was. The other thing that OTP did on that defense was that so many of them were back in the goal to cover different angles for potential shots into the net. But of course, at the very end of the day, one member was just coming back in off the respawn, and Bard Pilot had to pick a side. Didn't pick the right one. Now, 1-1 here once again, and OTP looking for another barrier. They will take it. Now going forward, looking for one here. Katsuna uses the energy burst just to try to knock some folks away. But now we'll be looking for this one. Merchant, nice Supernova. It actually hits the barrier on the other side of the pitch. And Kashikama blinked forward with a cyber swipe, looking for this one. And actually Katsuna low as well. Koreflip out, top corner, able to get sent back the other way. And Katsuna still collecting it to keep it away. But there's the arc beam coming out of Mirimeg. Sends the X off of the map. Power play opportunity, but Hungry Boy is there to send the shot to the top corner. 2-1 in favor of OTP here for the third set.
It's just a situation where Hungry Boy was able to take advantage of an opportunity that just presented itself. You know, Miramek was going to play that one a little bit slow. Merchant was in the middle of the net, and they didn't appear to have anything immediately prepared. I think the power core was off of cooldown, but they simply didn't expect for Miramek to let that one go. So maybe a simple miscommunication. Maybe it was just a simple case of Hungry Boy just trying to take the opportunity and push forward with the tempo that they had. But either way, it's goal number 2. We don't really care about the circumstances. The fact of the matter is it went in. So now, on set point here is OTP. They really need this one. They've got Kashikama down to 0 stagger. Miramek might follow suit shortly here. They're forced to pop a Koreflip Supernova on the back end for Merchant as well. They're desperate to get this one away, but they simply can't do it. Katsuna with the bull rush down to the bottom side. Great vision. Koreflip now trying to get this one through as best they can. 2 players staggered on the back end here for Oshi. No Koreflip. Can they get it away? Can they alleviate this pressure? Can they push this set farther?
Like they might be able to now with Katsuna getting a nice KO. Now looking forward and is able to win the strike war there to punch it back. All 3 members getting involved on that goal, but it all came down to that little strike war that Katsuna was able to win. And you mentioned it here. Now OTP picks up a set. Might be looking at this carousel pretty nicely. And I will say not a lot online for the X, of course, does probably want the tempo swing on the whole here. No, actually, he'll pick up the specialized training instead. All right, makes sense. able to take a little bit of extra damage there, and we've seen that X-Maxis get used quite a bit. Now, hopefully, we'll be able to pump out a little bit of extra damage and maybe another KO or two to convert to a goal.
Yeah, I'm seeing a whole lot here that's specifically great on offer. Egoist and Catalyst also being taken. That specialized training, though, I can kind of see that, especially to keep it away from the opposing Vice. I mean, Merchant has been making an impact with the Supernova, and certainly for it to do a little bit of extra damage would be, how do you say, not very good. Oh my goodness, though. Immediately off the top. Well, there's one IME out of the equation. Merchant is going to have to pop some energy to stay away from danger on that one, but they're not looking so hot. Thunderstruck comes in, they're staggered. The Bull Rush comes in, they're still in play, but they can't do anything to defend the shield barrier. They'll be taken off the top now with the power cord, and that's going to leave it wide open. OTP, relentless here on the first volley.
The damage has come online, and that means that you're going to see stagger bars on Oshi no Koreflip get rather low rather quickly. We saw that earlier on with Kashikoma going down to the Bell Ringer off the top of the X Maximus here. That empowered Bell Ringer right out of that special for Kitsuna. Something else to watch out for when it's online, but looks like maybe back the other way, trying to send this one as Oshi no Koreflip. They'll be looking for it now as Kitsuna uses that X Maximus, bullying Miri Meg away. Now we'll get completely staggered. Bull Rush down. No, can't find the KO for now. And is now probably basically out of cooldown. Supernova out here isn't going to find the core and keep things forward. And now one KO is able to come through, but they'll lose the barrier in the process. Bull Rush up to the top side. Kitsuna still looking to get it past Kashikoma, but a nice turret keeps up the pressure here as well. Glitch Pop to send it back the other direction as well as the power cord. They still can't find the goal with only 2 members up. Now Mirimega's respawn. It'll be looking for the core to the bottom corner. Merchant, though, nice clear out of the Supernova, able to send it back. Can't quite find this one. There it is. Comes on through. Mirimeg gets the goal nonetheless, and a KO will be the result of it. Seems like it's a lot more of these power play goals that are going in right now.
Well, and truly, Merchant, a beautiful read as well. Absolutely magnificent stuff with the vision, getting that power cord in towards Mirimeg, but my God, that was a bit of a catastrophe of a volley that last round. It was just chaos all over the place. So we'll see how things pan out this time around. Thunderstruck almost actually stops the core right before it contacts the shield barrier, but they'll still get it. Bell Ring on the back end. And again, it's a striker advantage for OTP. Firewall Sentry will combo that core straight into the opposing shield barrier. They're going to have to convert on this one. Again, match point against in terms of sets. But Merchant still doing their due diligence. Almost a blink in there. Katsuna can't put it away either. And Hungry Boy loses the strike war against their clone in Kashikoma. So now they're going to have to battle from a neutral stance.
Still looking for this one as Katsuna once again looks for a KO onto Mirimeg. Tries to relieve the pressure on the goal line, but in the meanwhile, can't be forward to put that one away. Now Thunderstruck comes in. Koreflip will be denied. Bar Pilot tries to go in and do the same, but can't find it for now. There's the Bull Rush backwards. Gets cleared away by Bar Pilot nonetheless, but even still, Mirimeg is around, now just being pesky in the corner here. Koreflip out of Katsuna will be able to put it away as the Thunderstruck knocked Merchant back, and OTP is looking to send us to a 5th set.
You can see Mirimeg as well. Didn't have the opportunity to start moving in there. Their stagger was simply too low, and it gave Katsuna that space on the top side to start approaching the core a little bit more than perhaps you would normally see. Normally they wouldn't want to be losing out on that strike war. It's too risky. We do see one shield barrier go down, make that 2 now, as Barbpod's having a really difficult time. That pass splitter did a lot of work there for Mirimeg. It's both shield barriers down on both sides. Now 1 goal away, but they're going to continue to fight Will Oshi no Koreflip with that barrier beam, throwing it right on through.
Again, a reminder, folks, this is a Swiss stage of something like 16 or 18 teams where only top 4 are going to advance. So you really don't want to be one of these teams that has 1 loss, leaving things up to chance in some effect, especially with 2 more rounds to play. Both these teams really wants to take this match here and see if they can do it as we head on to this 5th point. Reminder, Oshi no Koreflip with this next goal would actually find the match win. OTP is looking for this one to extend the match longer. Still, only 1 goal buried down on both sides, but Mirimeg's in position to send the other one back as well. Kashikoma can't be up there for the pass either with a low stagger bar, but the KO comes through there. Now all that's left is a passing play. Can't find it for now. Bar Pilot forward on the Thunderstruck. Nice power cord. Saves the barrier for now. And Mirimeg, Koreflip, bottom corner, and that'll be it. for Oshi no Koreflip. They'll take the victory.
You see the salutes as well from Barbara. It's a match well played. And unfortunately, OTP will fall here. But what a performance from Oshi no Koreflip overall. And you do have to give Merchant some credit here. It was a phenomenal defense, really, on both sides. There's not a whole lot that you can do in some scenarios as of Ice in the net when you're coming up against two opposing players in the vein of Asher and X in particular. You know, they just have such a ridiculous presence on the field and trying to get those stuffs and just getting those shield barriers down. You could see it. Mirameg here was by far star striker. I mean, 8 goals, 1 assist. Only missed out on 1 goal in terms of participation as far as That's certainly wrong. I'm lying to you. I have no idea what in the world I'm talking. That is absolutely incorrect. But they had high goal participation is the point I'm trying to make. You know, I think Ashikoma also deserves some credit in that category. But it really does feel like it's always that Asher on the back end with the barrier beam, with the pass splitter, just causing absolute havoc for your goalie in the net.
And look, that's what we know the Asher to do, right? Procure her the rock. That's the entire point. Because as long as that Asher's staring at the goal line with that core in front of her, it's certainly going to get back one way or another. And Mirameg showing exactly why that's the case. Meanwhile, on the flip side of that, the X doesn't quite have the same amount of just sheer, that core is going one way and it's back to the net kind of power as that Asher does. But Mirameg piloting this Asher quite well and was a key of the success. In fact, a large part of the reason why you saw Kitsuna so many times go back, make that adjustment in that final set, trying to bully Mirameg around, but oftentimes it just wasn't enough. And when you do that, you're once again leaving potential scoring opportunities on the table on the other side of the pitch as well.
Yeah. I do have questions, though, you know, about the nature of how this game would have played out if it wasn't on Demon Days. I mean, this really does feel like, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but this feels like the most volatile map. Simply because of the fact that the shield barriers are kind of, you know, out in the middle of the field. You know, there's potential for the core to get behind it and cause some real mayhem. Especially when you don't have, I would say, you don't have as much zone control as a Vice as you would as, say, perhaps an Atlas in the net. In my personal experience, you know, the Thunderstroke can be quite useful for stopping the core out. The Supernova obviously can basically just reject entire areas of the field with relative ease, but it's on a massive cooldown. You know, Vice doesn't really have that luxury so often, especially without Strike Shot. You know, you want to be able to use that eject button to move forward. You saw in this series how critical it was. I mean, even looking back at the stats page, you know, Barb Pilot was in the net, but they had 3 goals and 3 assists. Merchant picked up only 1 goal on their side, but that feels like it was mostly because of Mirameg picking up, you know, all 8 almost of the other ones. But the point stands, you know, as Vice, you have to sacrifice. You can't have the strike shot, right? You can't have the momentum boots, so even if you want to get like a little bit more control by just walking around on the back end, you can't even get that. So having to play a little bit of sacrifice on that one and on to Demon Days, but of course that is a choice that the players made. So you got to respect that one, and they made very good use of the kits that were available. Again, going back to the stats, right? Damage, you want to talk about a little bit of damage. It was certainly a very physical game this time around. Each player in the 20 to 30,000 range, except for Hungry Boy, just shy of 20K. But still, I think that's just a prime example, you know, of a game where you can get physical a little bit as the goalie and try to assist your team upfield. It was a good comp for both sides, and yeah, just an overall quality match. Like I was saying at the beginning, it could easily have been a bracket stage matchup. Yeah. But that is going to do it for our coverage of round 2. It looks like we're still waiting on a couple of matches to finish up, but K-Bot, I'm gonna take my leave here in just a second, but I trust that you'll have a little bit of a time here moving on forward.
Yeah, we'll hold it down. We'll find someone else to join me so I don't just like spew random things.
Salutes.
Because I'm sure that everyone wants a gold player's opinion. Currently, hard stuck high gold can't win the last few matches to promote to plat because I don't play the game enough. So surely you don't want my opinion. We'll get someone else on here to join. Miss Squid, thank you so much for joining us as well. Again, folks, stream has kind of been thrown together a little bit last minute. But hey, the more Omega Strikers we can stream, the better, right? So all the best there. But Squid, thanks for joining us. And folks, we will be right on back with more action out of our Omega Strike #1, brought to you by Amplify. On the other side of this break, it's round 3 of the Swiss stage. Don't go anywhere.